Hi, welcome back to Harmonic Hands. I wanted to make another video today regarding octaves and specifically Beethoven's D major, Opus 28, number 15. I believe that's, yes, Opus 28. One of my biggest challenges as I've been retraining is octaves. I don't know why octaves always intimidated me. They just always have. And recently I started working on broken octaves, and that kind of set me back a little bit. So I'm stepping back from broken octaves, just going back to normal octaves, which I did successfully master a couple weeks ago. So now it's just kind of getting back to where I was a couple weeks ago. In the Beethoven Opus 28, in that first exposition, and then when we have the recap, we have that very lyrical octave transitional area. Well, it's kind of moving into the second theme, but I was doing okay with this, and then I started working on the third and fourth movement where there's broken octaves, and I backtracked like I said earlier. So now and I might move the camera around. I appreciate any patience you're demonstrating as you're watching this. And black key octaves specifically. So right now I'm looking at measures 91, basically the end of measure 90 through measure 103. And the first thing I'm going to do is just let my hands play. Now, when I mastered octaves a couple weeks ago, I'm remembering that I focused mostly on that middle finger, whatever finger's in the middle. And I felt this like spreading of the palm. So I'm focusing on this middle finger to give me a sense of balance, not because I'm using that finger, but because it's giving me balance in my palm, and I'm not just feeling like my 5 and 1 are responsible for everything. And I'm also, I know I keep explaining. I'm pretty much practicing, if we're looking at the music real quick, I'm going from, from here to here. And then I'm only practicing, this C sharp to that E. And then I'm skipping over these other middle notes, because of what I'm doing is I'm just trying to practice my arm moving from those octaves to octaves and expanding, and then, anyway. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been helping, but I have to go very slowly, and I just remember it's the arm putting the hand down. Some of the analogies I like to use are like a bear paw, and just kind of trying to let my arm send it in. And then that middle finger is going to just immediately let the palm kind of come into itself. Now, the other thing I'm thinking about, my right arm, my right hand palm is kind of significantly smaller than my left. So octaves do feel bigger in my right hand. And that's just a mental thing I'm trying to get over. So what I'm also thinking about is just going from this to this. So I'm thinking about the closer notes. Of course, it's a tonal connection, not a physical connection. So I'm trying not to think about my 5, because that's where I get into trouble. And then I'm moving back out, splaying the palm forward and down. And then I'm focusing on that finger 2 to splay my palm. Focusing on finger 2 to help splay my palm. to continuously... Now, see, this is another problem where I start to stretch because I'm not letting the arm do the work. So I'm going to go back now. And I'm just trying to practice a comfortable octave. Now, the other thing I've been doing is doing a smaller interval. Instead of, because it's the black note octaves that really kind of mess me up. Now, to someone who's never retrained, going from a more college level playing to now having to do everything like this so slowly, this might seem kind of pathetic, but believe me, being able to do this has taken many, many, many months of work and patience. But see, even that right there was a lot better. And then even just practicing this seventh right there has helped my palm feel much more comfortable with that black note octave. Like I said, my left hand is bigger than my right. So these octaves actually really are no problem for my left. When the issue starts to arise is when I start putting hands together, and then my left hand starts to get tense and that 5 isn't happy. But these are not a problem for my left hand. And then just letting that keyboard splay the palm open. And I'm still thinking 1 to whatever finger is playing next. I'm sorry. Let me do that one. So it's my right hand that struggles more with passages like this. And again, I attribute this to a lot of cognitive error, which it all is. I'll keep going with my right hand a little bit. So white note octaves, and you know what? I actually measured with a measuring tape a white key octave versus a black key octave. And guess which one is smaller? It's actually the black key octaves. Just by like a quarter, not a quarter of an inch, but like a 1/16 of an inch. A black key octave is actually physically smaller. So that just goes to show how psychological this is. Okay, so I also have to remember that I have to really remember to breathe. So I'm focusing on my 2. Ooh, that felt good. That black key. So you know what, I'm going to start with the 7th actually, because I'm not feeling super confident on that. You know, the funny thing is, as soon as I didn't feel confident about something, I felt a twinge in my pinky. confidence is so important when it comes to technique and feeling solid and secure. I mean, confidence really is key. So now I'm going to go for it. That actually didn't feel half bad. Now I have to go back out. Twinge there, and you know why it was? I felt a little twinge because the next octave was a black key octave, you guessed it. So I'm gonna go for the 7th first. You know what, I should go for this 7th actually, because we're going, yeah, there we go, that's better. I get excited. I just look forward to retraining a pianist someday. I think that would be such a cool experience. That was an okay one. And then this chord, it just always feels so easy. But I'll explain why it feels so easy. Because there's this center pillar. And that's kind of forcing me to keep my arm forward. It's when there's no center pillar or sense of grounding in the middle of the palm that I start to just have problems. So I could, you know, even collapse it to this. Practice that a few times, which feels better. And, you know, that's just sometimes how slow the work needs to go. Especially, you know, if I have a point in time in which I slide backwards because I'm working on a new technique that maybe I'm not quite ready for. And that's just how it goes. So, you know, it's not that I can't play these octaves. It's not that I can't do this. It's just somehow those neurons got a little bit mixed up again. So it's about rerouting again. And that is just how the retraining process goes. And it's slow and it's not easy. It requires a lot of patience and dedication and realizing that this is a forever journey. This isn't, you know, an ending timeline. This will continue until the day I die. So there you go. All right, well, on that lovely note, thank you for watching, and I appreciate all your support, and please feel free to subscribe, support these videos if you like them, and happy holidays, and thank you for visiting.